Who bet this Charlie?
Do you feel left out in your education or career but still want to do something about it? Then don't fret. If you are a resident in the UK, British or EU citizen, then there is hope for you. You are in the age bracket of 21 to 55. The UK government is offering grants, scholarships and financial support for first degree to masters in various courses. The government will pay all your fees and you can educate yourself in a peace of mind. From £21,000 per year for first degree, etc. Get in touch with GEM Educational Consultancy and we will guide you in applying for this facility. We are situated at 51 Albany Road, Hornchurch. The postcode is RM12 4AE. Telephone 079 0479 3019 or email us pastorjoeka@yahoo.com. Get financial support and acquire a degree.
It is well with my soul. It is well with me. One thing I know. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with me. One thing I know. It is well with my soul.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
Give
Are you planning to get onto the property ladder? Are you thinking of getting into the property business? Do you live in a council flat? Do you live in a house and flat or house? Then join us this and every Thursday on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, 9 p.m. this and every Thursday, where we speak to the experts in the industry, the professionals in the property industry, where they show us and talk about the secrets in the property industry. It's booming. You can't afford to miss it. And also, you will learn how to start or get your first property without your own money. Join us and spread the news.
I believe in the sun.
What's the hidden truth or mysteries behind the supernatural? Do angels really exist today? Is healings and miracles real? Can I hear the voice of God? Was there inspirations and challenges in ministry? Can my eyes be open to see beyond the natural? Can I operate in the gifts of the Holy Spirit? Can my dreams contain messages from God? My Journey is your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Starr Radio UK. Join your host, Captain Tete, this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. on My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural.
You can't always be in control of what happens on the road, but you can control the tires you ride on. Thanks to Champon tires, in testing condition, you are guaranteed of traction and grip, be it new or partly worn tire. Champon tires are the largest import and exporters of tires in the UK. Locate us all over the UK. For Wakefield, contact us on 01924 262 043. Selby, Rotherham, Hull, and Birmingham, contact us on 01709 380-615, or you can visit us at www.champontires.co.uk. Champon Tires, safe when new, safe when partly worn.
I know it is well with my soul. Oh yeah. For God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in times of trouble. Therefore we will not fear. It is well.
It is well with my soul.
It is well with me.
It is well with me.
For one thing I know.
One thing I know. It is well with my soul.
It is well with my
soul. It is well with me.
Okay, so Starr in the UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 11:28. And that was a lengthy break of musical and commercial break. But that's music playing in the background. It's one from Pastor Theodora Boachiansa featuring Nick Vanny, known as It Is Well. So whatever you're going through, no matter the challenges, still keep on your faith. Don't lose it. All right then. Okay, so Starr in the UK. Now let's have a look at some of the stories making the rounds here. And let me say good morning to Mrs. Mary Bruce, ma'am. Morning to you. She's in the house at the moment. Yes. So I've got some gusto, right? Okay. Exactly at 12 o'clock, I'll be opening the lines for you to add your voice to the discussions that we're having this morning. If you so want to, you feel free to do so as well. Okay, so Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let me say good morning to Mr. Dave West, Maestro. I hope you are doing very, very well. Morning to you and to the family as well. And to a very good close friend of mine, what's the name again? Mama Lynn. Wherever you are, good morning to you. I hope you are doing good. Now, let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds here in the UK. Now, topmost of the story today is European elections day here. We're voting here today, and then other European countries will be voting over the weekend. So by Sunday, hopefully, we'll be having the results coming in. But, Some stories making the rounds. May faces pressure after minister resigns. Andrew Leadsom, that's the leader of the House, after her resignation, has prompted more and put more pressure on the Prime Minister to step down. So as of last night, we're thinking, well, is she going to survive the night? Well, but she's still around. She's a tough cookie, isn't she? I really like her. Very tough cookie. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That woman is not for turning. So you think you're going to turn her? My goodness. Look twice or look to your left. Okay, now, so the story, let me pick up on this one first. Now, Theresa May is continuing to face pressure from her own MPs to resign after one of her senior ministers quits the cabinet. The government whip told MPs the Brexit withdrawal bill will not now be published or debated until early June. Meanwhile, they want the whole thing debated in the first week in June. So what am I going to publish it for people to read and go through it? And then, okay, the Commons leader, Andrew Leadsom, stepped down on Wednesday night over the Prime Minister's Brexit policy. Several cabinet ministers have told the BBC that Mrs. May cannot stay in her post. That's cabinet ministers. Now, standing in for Mrs. Leadsom, Mark Spencer said, "We will update the House on the publication and introduction of the withdrawal agreement bill in our return from the Whitsun recess." Now, on Wednesday, Theresa May told the Commons that the legislation will be published on Friday. Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt said she will still be Prime Minister when President Trump visits the UK in early June. Okay, so the question I'm asking now is, the US President is due to make a 3-day visit from the 3rd to the 5th of June. Now, so is the voting in Parliament going to take place before the visit of Trump, or is it going to be after the visit of Trump? Because they say early, so early can be 2 weeks earlier, 2 weeks in the month, or earlier than that. But looking at it, how is it going to play? But well, now responding to a question after a speech at the National Cyber Security Center, he said Theresa May will be Prime Minister to welcome him, and rightfully so. It is possible for Mrs. May to quit as Conservative leader before Mr. Trump's visit, but continue as Prime Minister on a caretaker basis. Now, the US President is due to make a 3-day visit to the UK from the 3rd to the 5th. Speaking after Mrs. Leadsom's departure on Wednesday, Mrs. May said she was sorry to lose someone of Mrs. Leadsom's passion, drive, and sincerity. On Wednesday night, Mrs. Leadsom said Mrs. May's new Brexit plan had elements I cannot support that aren't Brexit. The minister had been due to appear in the Commons on Thursday to give a business statement to MPs. Mrs. Leadsom was set to announce when the Prime Minister's withdrawal agreement bill, the legislation needed to implement the agreement between the UK and EU, will be introduced to Parliament. On Wednesday, members of the Conservatives Backbench 1922 committee held a secret ballot on whether to change party rules to allow the Prime Minister to face. Okay, let me take that bit again. On Wednesday, members of the Conservative Backbench 1922 committee held a secret ballot on whether to change party rules to allow the Prime Minister to face a vote of no confidence immediately. But you remember that when they had this vote of no confidence in the past, they did say that they cannot get her out until after a year. So the year has not come yet. They are doing so. Well. What do you think about that? Let us hear from you. Starr Radio UK. But this evening, exactly at 7 o'clock, we have no other one but the one and only Bossman, KB Bossman, and his team coming your way once again.
Are you planning to get onto the property ladder? Are you thinking of getting into the property business? Do you live in a council flat? Do you live in a house and flat or house? Then join us this and every Thursday on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, 9 p.m. this and every Thursday, where we speak to the experts in the industry the professionals in the property industry, where they show us and talk about the secrets in the property industry. It's booming. You can't afford to miss it. And also, you will learn how to start or get your first property without your own money. Join us and spread the news.
Welcome back to the program, Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing you all the news that's making the rounds in the world today. So, the question is, will the Prime Minister be Prime Minister, not caretaker Prime Minister? Prime Minister, and by the time Trump comes in, or by the end of this week, by tomorrow, will she or will she be forced to fall on her sword? Well, that is another question. But as I said earlier on, today is the European Elections Day, and for the UK here. Now, so 73 members known as MEPs will be elected in 9 constituencies in England and 1 each in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Now, each region has a different number of representatives based on its population, ranging from 3 MEPs in the North East and Northern Ireland to 10 MEPs in the South East. Now, polling stations in the UK are open until 22 hours. So if you're listening to us, you are busy, you're working, make sure you make your way there, because this is sort of a referendum, right? Now, the Netherlands is also voting on Thursday, that's today, while voting in other EU nations will take place at various times over the next 3 days. The results will be announced once all EU nations have voted, with the voting process expected to be completed by the 22 hours BST on Sunday. So come Sunday morning, I bet you will have all the results with us. It's Monday morning, my apologies. Now, East Midlands has got 5 MEPs. Now, East of England has got 7. Now, London has got 8. North East has got 3. North West 8. Northern Ireland 3. Scotland 6. South East 10. South West 6. Wales 4. West Midlands 7. Yorkshire and Humber 6. So that is in total how many seats are there, or members of MEPs are there to contest or take the seat for the European Parliament representing the UK. Now, voters must be registered to vote, be 18 years old or over on the 23rd of May, be a British, Irish, or qualifying Commonwealth citizen, or a citizen of an EU country. Now, they have to be resident at a UK address, or a British citizen living abroad who has been registered to vote in the UK in the last 15 years and not be legally excluded from voting. Okay, so you can vote. If you're a Commonwealth citizen, it doesn't matter. You are a Commonwealth citizen. So if you are registered, my goodness, you can make your voice heard, and you can also, we are making what? I'm trying to turn the tides. Whether you want to Brexit, whether you want to remain, whether you want your voice to be heard properly, whatever the situation is, we are all doing so. Somebody said it. We are all in it together. Okay? So, we are all in it together, right? Okay, there. Now, so, Starr Radio UK, the station, the morning show, the program. I'm Archie here. And let's move on to some other stories. Okay. Now, to some of the other stories making the rounds in the UK, still, some breaking news that came through. Tiger who came to tea, Arthur Judith Kerr, has died. The tiger who came to tea, Arthur Judith Kerr, has died at the age of 95. Her publisher, HarperCollins, has said, and may her soul rest in perfect peace. Okay, and then some other the final stories before we move on to other parts of the world. Most parents reject nearest schools. Those are some of the items or articles that have been picked. The woman writes strangers insults on her face. And then last place, UK, that's even worse in Eurovision. That's an interesting one. A police hunt man after dog punched in head. Now 2 passengers evacuated in smoke stew passengers evacuated in smoke scare. The resignation of Commons leader Andrea Leadsom is the main story on Thursday's front pages. When you go to the front pages, that's what is making the rounds there. But it is Starr Radio UK. 11:39 is the time, and it is the Thursday edition of the morning show with me, your one and only Archie. Now we're moving on to some other stories making the rounds in the world. And topmost of the story is a landslide win by Narendra Modi in the Indian election. The Prime Minister BJP party has secured another 5-year term with a commanding majority. Wow, I'll bring you more of that in a jiffy. Now, deadly tornadoes batter Missouri, and not your average police chase. And then woman age 102 suspected of care home murder. Wow. Okay, and wreck at last, U.S. slave ship found in Alabama. Okay, we'll be having a look at all those ones before we move on to other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. But stay tuned. Don't even think of touching the dial. Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone,
all around the world.
This is Starr Radio UK.
The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has secured another 5-year term after winning a landslide general election victory. Now, results so far show his Bharatiya Janata Party, the BJP, is on course to win about 300 of the 543 elected seats in parliament. The main opposition alliance, headed by Rahul Gandhi's Congress party, is yet to concede. Over 600 million people voted in a marathon 6-week process. Now, the vote had been widely viewed as a referendum on the Prime Minister's Hindu nationalist politics. Mr. Modi has not just exceeded exit poll predictions, but also won a larger share of the vote than 2014 elections partial results show. Now, partial and declared results show Mr. Modi BJP is projected to win 300 seats, while the main opposition alliance, headed by Rahul Gandhi's Congress party, is expected to win fewer than 100 seats. Interesting. A party or coalition needs at least 272 seats to secure a majority in the 543-member lower house of parliament, or Lok Sabha. In 2014, the BJP won 282 seats, the biggest victory by any party in 30 years. And with its allies, it secured 336 seats in the parliament. But now that they have, before even the final whistle is blown, it sounded, they've got virtually on the verge of getting 300 seats. Well, so it was a referendum, and I think they've endorsed him. Well, how is it going to be? How is it going to react? How is it going to deal with his opposition? It is becoming increasingly clear the BJP is heading for a landslide victory. So what does it tell us? Firstly, we see that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's charisma had remained intact. He remains the BJP's main vote getter, and his assertion that a vote for his party was actually a vote for him seems to have worked. Now, secondly, backed by enormous resource, the BJP organizational machinery, employing all modern methods of communication, is not difficult to beat. We also see the opposition fail to build an alternative narrative to take on the BJP's campaign, which deftly combined nationalism, development, and religious polarization. The Congress needs to reinvent itself to take on a powerful and committed adversary like the BJP. It will need to become a much more hard-working party and need to grow its own regional leaders and grassroots networks. A lack of jobs in cities and villages is not a strong enough message to win election against powerful troops like nationalism, which Modi has been able to mine well. So nationalism is what has helped him to secure this victory. Now, is this something that people will learn from and will the opposition party of Rahul Gandhi's Congress Party learn from that or take a leaf from their book? Who knows? Maybe they would, or as I say, maybe they won't. But it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. I'm bringing the time now to 11:45. Stay tuned, but don't touch the dial. In another story making the rounds in France, a 102-year-old woman is suspected of having murdered her 92-year-old neighbor in a French retirement home. The suspected killer is now in a psychiatric hospital. Earlier, she told one of the carers that she had killed someone. A prosecutor said a carer at the home in Chézy-sur-Marne, northern France, found the victim dead in bed, her face severely bruised. The cause of death was strangulation and blows to the head. A post-mortem examination concluded. And the death was discovered just after midnight on Saturday by a carer who found the victim lying in bed unconscious. The AFP News Agency reports the 102-year-old was in a very agitated state, confused, and told the carer that she had killed someone. AFP News Agency reported, quoting the prosecutor, psychiatric tests are being done on the suspect to determine whether or not she was criminally responsible for her actions at the time. So even if it becomes manslaughter, are you going to put this 102-year-old woman behind bars? How many days has she got to survive or live on this earth? Well, interesting times ahead. But Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now let's move on. Now, the last ship known to have smuggled slaves from Africa to the US is said to have been discovered after a year-long investigation. The remains of the Clotilda were found at the bottom of the Mobile River in Alabama. The ship was used to smuggle men, women, and children into America from Africa. It operated in secret decades after Congress banned the importation of slaves and was intentionally sunk in intentionally sunk in 1860 to hide evidence of its use. The discovery of the Clotilda is an extraordinary archaeological find. Lisa Demetropoulos Jones, executive director of the Alabama Historical Commission, the AHC, told the Associated Press. Now, the ship's journey represented one of the darkest eras of modern history, and the wreck provided tangible evidence of slavery, she said. Now, the Clotilda was discovered by archaeology firm company Search Incorporated, which was called to her by the Alabama Historical Commission to investigate the hulk, says the National Geographical Society, which reported the find. The dimensions and construction of the wreck matched those of the Clotilda, as did building materials, the commission said. Now, researchers discovered a ship with its identifying features underwater in a section of the Mobile River, says National Geography. Now, we are cautious about placing names on shipwreck that no longer bear a name or something like a bell with a ship's name on it, maritime archaeologist James Delgado said in a statement. But the physical and forensic evidence powerful suggests that this is Clotilda. Okay, the U.S. banned the importation of slaves in 1808, but the slave trade carried on beyond this date, as this was there was still demand for workers from southern plantation owners. A wealthy landowner and shipbuilder from Mobile is said to have made a bet with northern businessmen that he could smuggle a cargo of African slaves into Mobile Bay under the nose of federal officials, National Geographic says. The Clotilda carried 110 men, women, and children from Benin to Alabama in the 1860s. according to historians. Now, look at the journey of Clotilda slaves in the 1860, all the way from Quida in Benin. Okay, Benin, two countries of next to Ghana, and the country the next or neighboring country from Nigeria as well. It went that way. From there, from the 24th, it left Quida, that's in Benin, on the 24th of May and arrived on the 9th of July. 24th of May and arrived on the 9th of July in at Alabama. And that is quite interesting. And that is quite interesting. Well, so it is the best documented story of a slave's voyage in the Western Hemisphere. Historian Sylvain Anadioff, who relied on his testimony from the slave traders and their captives, some of whom lived in the 20th century, to National Geographic. Some descendants of those carried on the ship still live nearby in an area that came to be known as Africa Town. They have welcomed the discovery. I think about the people who came before us, who labored and fought and worked so hard. Jocelyn Davis, a sixth-generation granddaughter of one of the slaves, told AP, "I'm sure people had given up on finding it. It is a wow factor." Interesting discovery. But what change would that bring? Would that bring a change of closure to all these racist tendencies of people? What will it bring? I always ask the question here. Now we have our own. I mean, we have the Jews who fight for the Holocaust and getting compensation, the recognition. But when it comes to the slave trade, I don't think we've had any recognition of the sort. Well, they're saying, "Oh, there is a further evidence." But how did all those people come to emerge in those places? Well. Starr Radio UK is the station, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. We take another look at another story before I move on onto the African continent to bring you some more stories there. But let me take opportunity to say good morning also to the one and only Dave West and Mr. Mike DeLeon, wherever they are. Some other story. Feeling the impact of Trump's foreign worker squeeze. That's one story that has been captured. And the story says, Jerry Sejeska is a type of entrepreneur that helps the U.S. economy to flourish. The 58-year-old runs a successful translation business on the outskirts of Philadelphia. His company, Cetra Language Solutions, employs 35 people and has an annual turnover of $5 million, or call it £4 million. His high-profile clients include food giant Nestle and the U.S. Defense Department. Now, Mr. Sejeska also happened to be an immigrant to the U.S. He arrived in the country in 1988, a political refugee from the former Czechoslovakia, and turned his life into a business success story. This is relevant because under President Trump's continuing America First policy, U.S. companies are being told to hire more homegrown Americans instead of giving jobs to people from overseas like Mr. Sejeska. In fact, 2 years ago, the president signed the presidential executive order on Buy American and Hire American. Now, this called on U.S. government agencies to tighten up the immigration system, including a key temporary work visa called the H-1B. The name may not be memorable, but the visa allows U.S. firms to hire skilled foreign workers for a 3-year period. Mr. Sejeska says that it's now increasingly difficult to get an application approved, and the new figures back him up. In 2017, the rejection rate of H-1B requests was 13%, but this year it has risen to 32%. According to a survey last month, a non-partisan think tank, National Foundation for America Policy, said. At the same time, it found that the rate of rejection for application to extend current visas for a further 3-year rose from 3% to 18%. This is misguided protectionism, says Mr. Sajid. It is clear that behind these policies is a will to cut all immigration in a country founded by immigrants. He adds that while he previously recruited 2 people via the visa per annum, he hasn't attempted it this year. Mr. Register said this is because the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service, which handles the visa, kept asking for more and more information, officially known as the Request for Evidence, RFE. Mr. Register says this is because the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration, the constant requests for evidence we have submitted over and over, and the delays discourage me from further hiring H-1B visas, he says. And that is what seems to be happening on the other part of the globe. Well, in America. Well, we did talk about slavery a moment ago, and the fact that they found one of the last slave ships that sailed from Africa, from Benin to the Americas, to Alabama. And they are saying, oh, that is an evidence that, slavery took place. Really? Okay, what about the people there? What are the scars that we have and everything? Well, but I asked myself the question, what difference would that make? Okay. Starr in the UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Kenya ATA and gay rights activists die. Dozens killed in Central African Republic attack. Nigerian plastic bag sellers could face tough sentences. And then Algeria declared malaria free. Jan included in Ghana provisional squad. 5 charged over plot against Zimbabwe's president. The fake scouts exploiting football dreams. And then Botswana, let's ban on elephant hunting. Why? Is it because they've got too many elephants there? Those are stories making the rounds. But first of all, let's look at Zimbabwe. 5 NGO workers in Zimbabwe have been charged with plotting to overthrow the government. They appeared before a Harare magistrate where they were alleged to have received training in the Maldives in acts of terrorism and civil disobedience. The state says they had attended a workshop there organized by a Serbian group. Interesting. The 5 were arrested at Harare Airport on their return. The state believes they were trained to operate firearms and to mobilize citizens to turn against the government and to evade arrests. Now, the police say others are still at large. The 5 denied the charges. Their lawyers accused President Emerson Mnangagwa as government of targeting human rights defenders and citizens. And in Somalia, condolences are pouring in for an army major who had recently given birth before she was killed in Wednesday's suicide bomb attack in Mogadishu, which killed 10 people. Now, Major Fatuma Ali Rage, widely known as Faye Ali, was regarded as one of the key people in Somalia's special forces. She was among soldiers who led the army in the front lines in the fight against Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab. Now, Major Rage was killed alongside her husband, who also served in the military. Their children, and the children they have behind, they leave behind, include a baby who is just a few weeks old. But that is a very, very sad one. Now, Uganda thieves use fake South Sudan car plates. Some stories making the rounds there as well. And then moving on. 4 South African tourists returned home after bus blast in Egypt. And then finally, BBC Africa business editor Larry Madowo has eaten mice for the first time in Malawi, and he says they taste just like chicken. Well, Starr in the UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, touching on one other story, Negroes for sale. This one poster in one of the dailies. 14 cargo of very fine. Okay, I'm trying to bring that story. I'll bring it. Advertising the sale of Negroes. and that was done by John Mitchell in the May 19, 1784 newspaper, amongst which is a carpenter, none of whom are known to be definite, alpha to be fold, or is it sold or fold for calf, a regular bred young Negro man cook born in this country who favored several years or served. Okay, so that's how they were writing their essays. They served several years under an exceeding good French cook abroad, and his wife in a middle-aged Western woman, both very honest, and there are 2 children, a young man and a carpenter. For terms apply to the printer, and they were selling them. Interesting. Starr Radio UK. So wherever you are, what you're going through, you have to understand that somebody has fought for your freedom. Some people had to do it, pay for it, and that's why you're enjoying. So why don't you take good advantage of it and do something or make something out of your life? Well, it is a minute after 12. It is Starr Radio UK, and we'll be taking a commercial break and some lovely music, and then I'll bring you to some of the other stories happening. Now, Asamoah Gyan has been brought back to the squad in the Black Stars for the AFCON that's going to be taking place. But someone is asking the question, though he's saying that, look, as for me, I'm cool, I'm going to be doing that, and every promise that he's making, do you think that that will help the team, or that is the end of the team for you? And in some of the news that's making the rounds in Ghana as well, Amidu charges Ayariga for fraudulently evading tax on imported vehicle. I said, well, it is okay, he evaded tax there, but are there not some bigger issues that we can look at than some of these trivial ones that what do you call them, some other organizations can look at, so that we can look at proper things, people who have caused financial loss to the state? Why are we not looking at that? We're looking at trivial issues. How much has he? I'm not saying that evading tax is good. No. That's not what I'm saying at all. But when there are bigger fishes to catch, we waste our time on just going after small fishes or little things that will bring us. Well, I remember my math tutor during secondary school, when we were having extra tuition, I will always say, little things pleases little minds. It is one of the little things that we are trying to do, and say, hey, we've done something. Well, I don't know about that. And then the EC chair says pools, 2020 pools will be watertight. How tight is watertight? When it comes to Ghana, we'll be having a look at all those stories in a jiffy. But stay tuned, don't touch the dial. You can't always be in control of what happens on the road, but you can control the tires you ride on. Thanks to Champon Tires, in testing condition, you are guaranteed of traction and grip, be it new or partly worn tire. Champon Tires are the largest import and exporters of tires in the UK. Locate us all over the UK. For Wakefield, contact us on 01924 262 043. Selby, Rotherham, Hull, and Birmingham, contact us on 01709 380-615, or you can visit us at www.champontires.co.uk. Champon Tires, safe when new, safe when partly worn.
Hello, good people. I'm back again, and this time it's about Mama's Choice Fufu Mix. It comes in 2 flavors, and it contains essential minerals and vitamins. It's gluten-free. You can grab one from the nearest Afro-Caribbean shop or the corner shop next to you. Insist it's Mama's Choice. It's certified by both the US and the UK Food Standard Boards. Grab one for yourself today. Mama's Choice. Ubedisa Charlie.
moko makobo bio me braze won kuna mimbo nyina firuwo moko motina bo break them obiara so bobo bio ma kin kwe won kuna mimbo nyina firuwo na se michi no breath to see you me sana komitra obo ma medie na se me kosu me busu afọ anjinya to dewa Marine country, we are to Yara and Crabia. Nasamichi, no practice to see ya. Messana, Comitra, Obama, Nasamikos, Nebusa, Jimian to Dewa. Marine country, we are to Yara and Crabia.
Online, on mobile, soon on DAB. This is Starr Radio UK, the leading African Caribbean radio station.
Your favorite Afro-Caribbean radio station in the UK.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
This is Starr Radio UK.
You can't always be in control of what happens on the road, but you can control the tires you ride on. Thanks to Champon tires, in testing condition, you are guaranteed of traction and grip, be it new or partly worn tire. Champon tires are the largest import and exporters of tires in the UK. Locate us all over the UK. For Wakefield, contact us on 01924 262 043. Selby, Rotherham, Hull, and Birmingham, contact us on 01709 380-615, or you can visit us at www.champontires.co.uk. Champon Tires, safe when new, safe when partly worn.
Hello, good people. I'm back again, and this time it's about Mama's Choice Fufu Mix. It comes in 2 flavors, and it contains essential minerals and vitamins. It's gluten-free. You can grab one from the nearest Afro-Caribbean shop or the corner shop next to you. Insist it's Mama's Choice. It's certified by both the US and the UK Food Standard Boards. Grab one for yourself today. Mama's Choice. Ubedisa Charlie.
Do you feel left out in your education or career but still want to do something about it? Then don't fret. If you are a resident in the UK, British or EU citizen, then there is hope for you. You are in the age bracket of 21 to 55. The UK government is offering grants, scholarships, and financial support for first degree to masters in various courses. The government will pay all your fees and you can educate yourself in a peace of mind. From £21,000 per year for first degree, etc. Get in touch with GEM Educational Consultancy and we will guide you in applying for this facility. We are situated at 51 Albany Road, Hornchurch. The postcode is RM12 4AE. Telephone 079 0479 3019 or email us pastorjoeka@yahoo.com. Get financial support and acquire a degree.
Charlie, come me try cash no. The way me who man me suspect some Benjamin at all. Me pacho send you in time na I was say na kiko to draw pharmacy obrem sisi a. Wo saka we from why? Na we dey Charlie ya wapa o.
Kwabrani, if I join their message.
Oh, come me go so try call no. Charlie, my yes rough from back why?
Hey Joe, me send come messages no why. Nyabu trema me, no pressure. Me chat to direct amount here. So mobile money.
MoneyGram to mobile money. Anyo, MoneyGram to mobile money. Say what me do MoneyGram. Oh, mobile money wallet mo Ghana ha. Zipay and a tire tree. MoneyGram bringing you closer. Service way. We now MoneyGram agent biao.
If you've had an accident in the last 3 years, that was not your fault. Get in touch with London Accident Claims Limited. It could be a motor accident or a workplace injury. You could be entitled to compensation. Just one call to our specialist team will take care of everything. For minicab drivers with PCOs, there is even better news. We provide you with a replacement vehicle. Call us on 0800 032 6798 or 0208 665 7667 to start your claims with London Accident Claims Limited. London Accident Claims Limited, a partner you can trust.
Are you planning to get onto the property ladder? Are you thinking of getting into the property business? Do you live in a council flat? Do you live in a house and flat or house? Then join us this and every Thursday on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, 9 p.m. this and every Thursday, where we speak to the experts in the industry, the professionals in the property industry, where they show us and talk about the secrets in the property industry. It's booming. You can't afford to miss it. And also, you will learn how to start or get your first property without your own money. Join us and spread the news.
I believe in the sun.
What's the hidden truth or mysteries behind the supernatural? Do angels really exist today? Is healings and miracles real? Can I hear the voice of God? What's their inspirations and challenges in ministry? Can my eyes be open to see beyond the natural? Can I operate in the gifts of the Holy Spirit? Can my dreams contain messages from God? My Journey is your one-stop destination to the supernatural on Starr Radio UK. Join your host, Captain Tete, this and every Saturday from 4 p.m. on My Journey, your one-stop destination to the supernatural.
Listen to Aunties Mary, Lottie and Regina on the Family Enrichment Programme on Starr Radio UK. This and every Saturday from 6 to 8 p.m.
Some people are wicked because don't make it your business going about revealing
people's secrets. Don't be a busybody.
And some people. Today's typical family is under pressure from various directions. Divorce is on the increase. More and more of the Afro-Caribbean youth are taking to crime, etc. The Family Enrichment Program brings together a team of qualified experts to discuss and shed light on how we can make our families better and stronger. It is said the family can do without the society, but the society can't. Listen to the Family Enrichment Program this and every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Starr Radio UK, your favourite Afro-Caribbean radio station in London.
Download our app in iTunes and the Google Play Store.
Okay, so welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. It's 12:20. Let me call it that. And it is the Thursday edition of the morning show. I'm Archie.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancer taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back once again. A quick one on the roads this morning. Once again, before we move on, a quick one on the roads before we move on. Let me bring that your way, and then we go on from there. But I think it looks like nothing has changed so far. Everything seems to be running the same way. National Rail, same way. On the traffic front, same way. And then, yes, so we are still in a good mood. So check before you leave Starr Radio UK. Like OLAYOMI, who was on the North Circular Road, going north. Okay, so now let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds on the African continent. Tumeleng Nsubi, 21, is South Africa's youngest ever MP. He's 21. He's the youngest MP. Interesting. I mean, worldwide, who is the youngest MP? How old is he? I think there was one MP in Ghana who was one of the students at the university, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and but I'm not sure how old the person was. But yeah, if you can check that for me, that would be very interesting. Who is the youngest MP? But 21 years. Well, somebody say, he's too young. What does he know? But why is he representing his people and is representing his cause? So why not? And then DRC Fayulu comments on reported irregularities. Now Fayulu is the opposition leader in DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, and Martin Fayulu, a defeated presidential aspirant in the Democratic Republic of Congo's December 2018 election, has commented on the ongoing electoral process in Malawi, calling for vigilance and protection of votes. In a tweet posted a day after Malawians went to the polls to elect a president, lawmakers and local level officials Fayulu cautioned against any meddling with true figures from the polling stations. Now I'm watching with concern the events in Malawi, in hashtag Malawi, including a report of unverified votes added to overall results and constituency level figures being changed. Now, I'm reminded of the failure of my country. This is not what the people deserve. We must all unite to defend democracy, his tweet said. Now, he lost his election back in his home country. That is the DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. But he's saying, well, guys, you people in Malawi, you went through the polls. But hey, open your eyes. Shine your eyes. Make sure that nobody does any kulululu stuff there. That is what seems to be happening. But let's move on. Itumeleng Ntsobe is 21 years and is South Africa's youngest ever MP. Now, South Africa's youngest legislator is set to be sworn into office today as member of National Council of Province, NCOP, the upper house of parliament, take their seats. The 21-year-old Itumeleng Ntsobe belongs to the ruling African National Congress from Batsebelo in the Free State Province, the province which has its capital at Bloemfontein. Also serves as South Africa's judicial capital. Ntsobe was accredited by the parliament during a May 21 orientation in Cape Town, the legislative capital reports have said. Now, he enrolled in university last year and is studying towards a degree in education back in Bloemfontein to allow him undertake his new role. He said he will move to a university in Cape Town to continue with his studies. The 20-year-old, I'm 20-year-old. I serve as the provincial chairperson of the Congress of South African Students in the Free State. On the 21st of May, we came to Parliament to be acclimatized with all processes, namely of what's expected of us. Ntsobe is quoted to have said. But interesting, a very young MP. Well, we hope that one day he will grow up, be a good politician, and maybe become one of the presidents. Maybe. But watch out for that. But Starr Radio UK is the station. 12:24 is the time. Like I announced earlier on, the lines are open if you want to join us in the discussions, whatever things. Maybe you have some news going on in your area you want to share with us, feel free to do so. You can call us on 0208-133-2257 or 58. 0208-133-2257 or 58. If you're in US or Canada, it's 0017183032737. And if you want to text or WhatsApp at 0753966174 0753966174. Our Twitter handle is Starr Radio UK and our email address is info@starradiouk.com. Stay tuned. Now, finally, from before the final story, that is about the elephants in Botswana. Now, Sudan's protest leaders on Tuesday called on their supporters Tuesday to prepare for a general strike after talks with the country's military rulers stalled on who will lead an agreed 3-year transition. Now, protest leaders had reached agreement with the ruling military council on the other main aspects of the transition. But early on Tuesday, the generals who overthrew veteran President Omar al-Bashir last month balked at protesters' demands for a civilian head and a civilian majority for an agreed new sovereign council to lead the transition. In order to achieve a full victory, we are calling for a huge participation in a general political strike, said the Sudanese Professionals Association, which took the lead in organizing the 4 months of nationwide protests that led to Bashir's ouster. The strike is our revolutionary duty, and participation in the sit-in is a crucial guarantee to achieve the goals of the revolution. The protest leader Madani Abbas Madani told the AFP the preparation for a general political strike and a civil disobedience were already underway. Whenever we will decide on applying the plans, we will make an announcement, said Madani, a prominent leader of protests umbrella group of the Alliance for Freedom and Change. The two sides launched what had been billed as a final round of talks on the transition late on Sunday. The Military Council has faced pressure from Western government and the African Union to agree to a civilian-led transition, the central demand of the thousands of demonstrators who have spent weeks camped outside army headquarters in Khartoum. So those are some of the stories making the rounds there. But finally, let me just quickly bring you the story about what is happening in Botswana and the elephants. Meanwhile, we have some other countries saying that, hey, you don't have to kill the elephants. Yes, but now the rural population in Botswana is likely to cheer a government decision to lift a ban on elephant hunting, while conservationists will be outraged. A prohibition of elephant hunting was introduced in the South African country in 2014 by the then president Ian Khama, a keen conservationist. Now, but lawmakers from the ruling Botswana Democratic Party have been lobbying to overturn the ban, saying populations have become unmanageably large in some areas. Now, President Bogwetsi Masisi took over from Khama in April last year, and a review began 5 months later with reports suggesting growing political friction between Masisi and his predecessor. Botswana has taken a decision to lift the hunting suspension, the Environment Ministry said in a statement. It said a cabinet committee review that found that the number of high levels of human-elephant conflict and the consequent impact on livelihood was increasing. The general consensus from those consulted was that the hunting ban should be lifted. It added, vowing that hunting is restarted in an orderly and ethical manner. Farmers struggle to keep elephants out of their fields where they eat crops and can kill people, and lifting the hunting ban could be popular with rural voters ahead of an election due in October. So are they doing it for political expediency, or are they doing it because actually life of farmers or people in the hinterlands are at risk? That is a question. But what do you think? Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, and it is tick-tack, 12:30. A musical break, and I come your way. We're going to be having a musical break from music from the one and only ARCHIE Dede. Stay tuned and don't touch the dial.
Ebieni kenjawa manunya oya Saudi maya maowere une yembaibo
From Ghana, of course. He's now a chief, right? So did they call him Nana or something? Nana, Nana Machi There was this artist, I've forgotten his name. He had a song, it goes Kwabra Minka Meka. And during in his lyrics, he says, well, Machi Dede is not a woman, but is known as Dede. But well, that is the time when we were back home, and then you didn't know that in this part of the world, you have a man whose surname is Joyce. Well, so if somebody's called is Machi Dede, it's okay. Because even the advanced countries are doing it, right? Okay. I hope you enjoy the music. But Starr Radio UK is the station. The morning show, of course. 12:35 is the time. Okay. So now let's take a commercial break from this evening's property hour. That's going to be coming your way with KB Bossman and his colleagues. That is Vicky and the one and only Sonia. They'll be coming your way with the property hour show, and that will be exactly at 7 o'clock.
Are you planning to get onto the property ladder? Are you thinking of getting into the property business? Do you live in a council flat? Do you live in a house and flat or house? Then join us this and every Thursday on the Property Hour Show on Starr Radio UK, 9 p.m. this and every Thursday, where we speak to the experts in the industry, the professionals in the property industry, where they show us and talk about the secrets in the property industry. It's booming. You can't afford to miss it. And also, you will learn how to start or get your first property without your own money. Join us and spread the news.
Well, this is Starr Radio UK. This is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And the time now is 12:37. Exactly in the next 23 minutes, I'll be bringing the program to a close. And I will want you to join me in the discussions. Now we're going to be having a look at some of the stories making the rounds in Ghana. Let me take the opportunity to say good afternoon to my apostle, himself, brother HB, wherever you are. And to those of you celebrating your birthdays today, of course, let me say a massive, massive happy birthday to you, wherever you might be. Now, when it comes to Ghana, armed cucumbers attack special national security. So, the security issue going on once again. And then another issue, crowbar clashes. It will be unwise to make police to make arrests. That's what the police are saying. But I ask myself, if some people have broken the law, why don't you arrest them? And why are they saying that it will be unwise to make for the police to make arrests? Is it that when they arrest somebody from one faction, that will infuriate them, and then they will also now embark on something else or be angry or whatever it is? And then when it comes to the AFCON 2019, Jan has been named in Appiah's provisional squad. But is it going to feature as the captain, or is it going to feature as just another player, or is going to be the general captain as he was going to be? That was going to be his new position, so that Ayew would have been. Is it the day Ayew would have been the substantive captain? How is it going to be? We're having a look at all that before we lift off. Or bring the curtains down. Let me put it that way. Starr Radio UK. Okay. And the story says the National Security Reconnaissance Team on a special mission has been attacked by an armed group suspected to be cucumbers at a village in the Chirponi district of the northeast region, where land violence between tribal cucumbers and Anafers, that's the Chokosis, has raged for almost a week now. The attack occurred at Garin Kuka, a cucumber-dominated community and notable hotspot in the ongoing clashes, where villagers 3 days ago attacked the district coordinating director and set his official vehicle ablaze. Now, according to a member of the team, the attackers had destroyed a major bridge and dug deep holes on the road and took concealment positions in nearby underbush to waylay and trap their targets. Now, but we live in a country where we've got soldiers, right? We've got let me call it the military, right? And we got the police as well. Now, in such a scenario, why don't we just send some there, deploy some soldiers or some police or some people in that place? Now, this was the same tactic they deployed when they attacked the district coordinating officer and left him with severe gunshot wounds, thinking he was an enemy combatant. Now, when National Security Team got to the scene and attempted to dismantle the blockades, gunshots were heard from different directions. The security forces had to return fire and eventually overpowered the mob and forced some of them to clear the roadblocks. They proceeded to the district capital to carry out the unspecified operation. Meanwhile, the violence continued to rapidly escalate. Same on Wednesday, 2 persons were killed at the Chokosi village of Nawegu near the Bunkrugu when attackers opened fire on residents preparing for a late afternoon Muslim prayers. 2 houses were touched. Now, fresh attack has been reported, that's today, Thursday, at Nasoni, another Chokosi community. A total of 16 people have been arrested and dozens of weapons seized, according to police since the conflict renewed last Saturday. Now, even more than 7 communities affected so far and thousands of properties destroyed. The fighting has compelled the Interior Ministry and the Regional Security Council to renew the curfew and ban the use of motorbikes in the area. Now, so what is making these cucumbers agitate? Why is government trying to take some of the lands of them, or are they other, what do you call them, other tribes, the Anofas are trying to take those lands off them. Can't we get government to come in to say, okay, we demarcate it after talks with them and say, this is your land and this is this land's land. So once we come to a compromise there, if some people have to be compensated for the piece of the land, we need to do so. When people, wasted funds and stuff like that, if there is a need, I think that it's about time that if they have to be compensated some people for their loss of their lands, at least they know that they got the financial worth of it and can purchase other lands elsewhere in their part of the region, so that there will be peace. But where people are losing their properties and their lives are going to be lost and people are getting hurt, I don't think I stand for that at all. Well, it is Starr Radio UK. 80 minutes to the top of the hour is the time, and it's some news making the rounds in Ghana for you today. Just stay tuned and don't think of touching the dial. Now, some other stories making the rounds will be coming to some interesting one. Now, the police have said that it will be unwise to make arrests at the Krobo clashes. Now, what is all that about? Now, police in the eastern region say it cannot make an arrest in the ensuing clashes at Odumase Krobo over the decision of Power Distribution Service, the PDS, to disconnect residents there over unpaid bills. Now, some angry youth at Lower Manya Krobo municipality of the eastern region again clashed with the police at Odumase Krobo on Wednesday. At least one person has been reportedly shot dead, while 5 persons have sustained gunshot wounds, according to a local journalist. Now, information coming through said the situation was in such a way that it would be foolhardy to try and make an arrest. That's what the PRO of the Eastern Regional Police Command said. He said, we are talking about close to about 1,000 people charging on police who the number is now we cannot match the kind of force they are trying to charge on the police officers, he said. For now, the immediate to this okay, they've written some English interesting ones, construction there. Now, the youth organized a spontaneous protest to petition the municipal chief executive for the area, Kweku Simon Tete, and on their concerns on overbilling by the PDS and its ongoing mass disconnection exercise. The youth had earlier on Wednesday morning mounted roadblocks and pelted the PDS staff with stones and sticks at Yohe, a community near Odumase Krobo, when PDS staff went to the community to discontinue its mass disconnection exercise. The irate youth smashed a PDS Nissan pickup with registration number. It took the intervention of the police personnel to rescue the PDS staff. The PDS staff decided to switch off the transformer, cutting off power supply to the entire area. Shortly after the attack, the angry youth mobilized to embark on a protest to petition the MCE, but the armed police rushed to protect the municipal assembly office by preventing the youth from entering the premises. This has led to the clashes between the youth and the police. Many warning shots have been fired to disperse the youth, who are also attacking the police with stones and other elements. 3 people were injured after a similar chaos on Monday at Menya Bongono over mass disconnection exercise by Power Distribution Service PDS. Reports indicated the police reinforcement team fired tear gas after they were attacked by the youth. Now, interesting. Now, why are they agitating that they don't want to pay their bills? Now, you use it, you pay for it. Now, why haven't they also installed a pay-as-you-go meter for them? Now, if you think that the people paying monthly or quarterly or whatever time they send the bills, it's such that it overwhelms them. And by the time they say jack, but then they take that expenses off and then look at this, they are like, well, what is the point? What is the point? So if people are going to behave that way, the straight thing is that Give them all meters, pay as you go meter. Give them some time for them to pay their bills. And maybe it will resolve all this issue that is going on. But well, maybe they've given an offer, but in Ghana, as you know, they will say that you have to buy that meter. And maybe they are not ready to buy those meters, and therefore the rancor will still go on. But what do you think? I want you to add your voice to the discussion. Start with the UK. In the next 30 minutes, I'll be bringing the program to a close. But let's move on to some other stories making the rounds here. Okay. When I say here, I'm talking about Ghana at the moment. Okay, some good news coming through. If you are in Ghana, you are looking for a passport or you're applying for a passport. Now, Koforidua has gotten themselves Passport Application Center. Now, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has commissioned a passport application center in the Eastern Region capital, Koforidua. This is part of efforts by government to ensure that all 16 regions in the country get passport center to end many decades of struggles for passport due to the virtually centralized operational system of the passport application office. The regional centers will be strictly for online applications whose applicants who document are processed will then be notified to visit the office for their biometric data to be captured. Well, interesting. Starr in the UK. And we hope that it works well for us and that there will not be any kululu things and middlemen and all that stuff that goes on from there. But Starr in the UK is the station, the morning show, the program. Stay tuned and don't even think of touching the dial. Now, finally, let's move on to some other story. Interesting one that the chairperson of the EC has said or has made. The story says, the Ghana Elections Management Body, the Electoral Commission, the EC, has given an assurance that it will deliver watertight elections come 2020. In line with that, it has given the strongest indication that it is rebuilding a strong, robust foundation from within to deliver a free, fair, transparent, and accountable system for the 2020 elections. The chairperson of the EC, Mrs. Jane Mensah, gave the assurance in an exclusive interview with one of Ghana's most newspapers, Daily Graphic. The EC boss was speaking on a broad range of electoral issues, including the outlook of the elections 2020, the representation of the proposed amendment law, ROPA, challenges with the voters register, the use of technology to improve the electoral process, and then the safeguard in places to ensure the integrity of the whole electoral administration. The EC boss call had earlier led 3 other commission members to pay a courtesy call on the management of the graphic communications. They were her 2 deputies, Dr. Eric Bossman Asare and Mr. Samuel Tete. Okay, for the latest news, my apologies. The visit was aimed at allowing the EC to seek the support of and partnership of the GCGL, that is the graphic media. Then, according to Mrs. Mensah, the EC was working with external partners to come up with workable policies that will help streamline and sanitize its operations to deliver efficiently on its constitutional mandate. We are trying to build transparent systems that are clear, with a framework to guide us to promote efficiency, higher principles, and more authority in the management of electoral process, she stated. Now, in reforming and rebuilding, Mrs. Mensah said, reforming and rebuilding electoral institutions within the EC have become issues of concern. She said, since assuming the position as the head of the EC, no effort had been spared in bringing on board all the required expertise and resources, which culminated in a fairly successful referendum in 2018. She also touched on Ayawaso West Walgon by-election and its associated violence, which she said was not occasioned by the EC. Important lessons, she said, has been learnt from that by-election, especially for the media and the security agencies. There's a few issues there that he's talked about. On Europa, she said, the law which was adopted in 2011 had some limitations which had culminated in the EC undertaking stakeholders' engagement across the country with a view to retuning it. She said a committee that has been set up to gather further better data to help in the implementation of that law was yet to travel to 2 countries where the law was being implemented to learn at first hand their experience in the implementation of the law, following which a report will be presented to Parliament for further action. One other activity that the EC had been engaged in, she said, was to streamline the Inter-Party Advisory Committee and in order to bring about some sanity. Now, in view of that, she said, monthly meetings were being held to decide on the agenda and other issues worth of consideration at that level. However, she said it was unfortunate that all had not gone well with the IPAC, saying there had been occasional skirmishes, but she was confident that with time the committee will overcome the teething challenges. We will all find our levels and things will get better, Mrs. Mensah said, but quickly added that in so doing, the major task will be how all could work in unison to get the IPAC to be more effective and build the necessary collaboration between it and the EC. Well, listeners, Star Radio UK is the station, the morning show, the program, and it is 7 minutes to the top of the hour. I will touch on one other story and I will bring the program to a close. So somebody asked the question, which story are you touching on? Football. Asamoah Gyan has been named in the provisional squad. That's from the manager of the Black Stars. But reactions coming from one of Ghana's football gurus, let me call him that way, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, has said that Apia must be firm or. A former chairman of the Ghana Football Association, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, says Coach Kwesi Apia handling of the unfolding drama involving striker Asamoah Gyan could prove crucial to Ghana's fortunes at the upcoming African Nations Cup in Egypt and beyond. He said the Black Stars coach needed to be firm in his conviction and resolute in his decision in order to maintain a stable team at this critical time. Gyan, the captain of the Black Stars since 2013, announced his retirement from the team last Monday ahead of the naming of a provisional squad to begin preparation for the Nations Cup, citing a purported decision to strip him off the captain's armband. He has since rescinded his decision and announced his availability for selection following an intervention by the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now, speaking this morning, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo said the chaos surrounding the captaincy of Black Stars was an unfortunate development and could derail the team's campaign in Egypt even before the tournament began. In the first place, the coach failed to apply tact in the way the captaincy issue and the matter surrounding Asamoah Gyan was handled, the former GFA capo said. Now, he needs to employ serious managerial skills to stabilize the team in the wake of divisive actions that have subsequently happened since Gyan announced his retirement from the national team, he added. Dr. Tamaklo also criticized Gyan on many occasions for his game and attitude, but said the striker's contribution to the national team over the year could not be overlooked. Well, it is Star Radio UK. It is the Thursday edition of the morning show, and of course, this is where I bring the program to a close today. But this evening, exactly at 7 o'clock, I announced earlier on, we'll be having Mr. KD Bossman and the team, Vicky and Sonia, coming your way with another edition of the Property Hour. You want to get your foot on the property ladder. You have a property. You want to take the equity out of it to get yourself another property. You want whatever you want to do. Make sure you tune into that program because they will inform you as to what to do. God richly bless you and thank you very much for tuning in. But hey, tomorrow I'll be coming your way with another edition of the morning show. But we take the commercial break, and once you come back, I'll bring you the closing music and I will take my leave.
Are you planning to get onto the property ladder? Are you thinking of getting into the property business? Do you live in a council flat? Do you live in a house and flat or house? Then join us this and every Thursday on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, 9 p.m. this and every Thursday, where we speak to the experts in the industry, the professionals in the property industry, where they show us and talk about the secrets in the property industry. It's booming. You can't afford to miss it. And also, you will learn how to start or get your first property without your own money. Join us and spread the news.
Well, let's start Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. And like I said, I'm taking my leave, but I bring you this song from Papa Jansen featuring Pauline Odro that says, "Stay With Me," or Tina Minche. When a song ends and you don't hear from me, it's been me, the one and only Archie, saying, have a top of the day, good afternoon, and enjoy your day. Bye-bye for now. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.
Sinami chen mami bon komobi min komo nyina ni de min do inko fonti asiro odana mi o ma won kutonu obi areni wa obotu asisama kin wo
Osut na mi chen mami bon komobi min komo nyina ni de obi anyi wo se Snami chen, mami mpobon komobi, inkomo nyina renyite, wasam nyamasa.
Semit unza mi unza mi emumpo, metajundo suomi mwa, wayre chichi mami nije, baby snami chen, mami mpobon komobi, minkomo nyina renyite, mewa pieta mauka. Wondo ashemima
Missy Maria's in Yinamawo
Wenije ashemima
Deminti, don't you break my heart Nami chen, mami komobi Inkomo nyinarenite Obiani wani wose Nami chela ho mami mbogo komobi Inkomo nyinarenite Wasam nyamasa Missy Maria's in Yinamawo
Wenije ashemima baby
Deminti, don't you break my heart
Ain't it, na mention